Number 41, got a bunch of stuff in the directions, and we've got to make sure we read that correctly to do this problem right. But it says that the sine of u is negative 3/5, and then it goes on to say that u is bigger than 3 pi over 2, but smaller than 2 pi. That's a real fancy way to say that it's in quadrant 4. Because this is where 3 pi over 2 is, so it's bigger than this spot, but less than 2 pi. So it's somewhere in quadrant 4. So, since I don't know exactly how big that angle is, also don't really care how big the angle is, I can at least sketch it and say, here's u, and if its sine is negative 3/5, I will label its opposite as negative 3 and its hypotenuse is 5. Hypotenuse is always positive and the 3's going down. That's how I know the 3's negative and not the 5. Okay, I'm probably going to need to know this side. So this looks like a 3, 4, 5 triangle, or Pythagorean theorem if you don't know 3, 4, 5. And then this is going to the right, so it's a positive 4. Okay, so I haven't even gotten to the question yet. I'm still in the directions. Then it goes on to say cosine of v is 15/17, where v is bigger than 0, less than pi over 2. So that's a fancy way to say it's in quadrant 1. Because it's bigger than this angle, smaller than that angle, somewhere in quadrant 1. Okay, so since I don't know that angle, I can sketch a picture. This is v. Make sure you label u and v's to keep up with your stuff. And if its cosine is 15/17, a label adjacent is 15 and hypotenuse is 17. Okay, now I suspect I'm probably going to need this side. And I think that's a Pythagorean triple, but it's not one that's jumping out at me. So I'm just going to do Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus 15 squared equals 17 squared. This is 8. And you really got to force yourself. This is still the most common mistake here. Make sure you have the signs right on the two that you are plugged in. This is going right, so positive. This is going up, so positive. Pythagorean theorem is never going to tell you negative because it only knows the length, not the direction. Okay, so I did all of that and I haven't even looked at the question for number 41 yet. This is just the directions. This should help you for any question on 41 through 46. 41 specifically wants to know what is the sine of u plus v. So plug it in the formula. Go and find those 4 ratios. The sine of u. I guess that was technically given to me, but I can double check it with my triangle. Cosine of v was given to me. I can also check it from the triangle. Now the sine of v I didn't know. It's 8/17. Cosine of u I did know. It is 4/5. So this is how it plays out a little differently. The first questions in the assignment, those are angles on the unit circle, so we applied the unit circle 4 times. I don't know these angles, and I suspect they're not angles on the unit circle, so I had to do 4 SOHCAHTOA ratios from triangles. Okay, if I was to multiply these fractions together, that would be negative 45 over 85. And these two would be 32 over 85. Negative 45 85ths plus 32 85ths is negative 13 85ths. That's the final answer. Now, unfortunately, this is one that your calculator can't check for you. You can throw this in your calculator and get a decimal, but you have nothing to compare it to. So you really just want to slow down and go slower here, and if you had time, go back and double check, especially the signs. If you go left or you go down, make sure you call it negative instead of positive.